Yeah. Oi, just Stephanie. Excuse me. Okay, so yeah, the Leitner box is dying today. Whoa! What? Okay, here's the deal. As I'm going on with the vocabulary, wait, why am I not using my tripod? Because I'm going to take you over to the area where it's going to be dismantled in a minute, but I feel like there needs to be an explanation first. So here is your explanation. Oh! Sorry. Hope that didn't hurt too much. I could stop and start again, but why would I bother? I can't wait for my new tripod to arrive. Okay, so here's the deal. As I'm learning new vocabulary, I'm noticing that I'm confusing it with really simple vocabulary that's been in level 7 for forever. And level 7 does not get reviewed often with the Leitner system, because the higher it goes, the less often you review it. You still review it, let's see, in 64 days, which is the Leitner cycle. It sounds very medical, it's not. Let me see, how many times do I do level 7? Once. Are you serious? No wonder. Once. Level 7 is used once on day 56. So if you slack off in the beginning, you literally never get to that level 7 review. Which means all of the stuff from HSK1 or the stuff that went really quick with HSK2, I never see again. And here's why this is the problem. And this might be a distinctly Chinese language problem. There's a lot of words that look like each other. And there's a lot of words, for me, I'm starting to have some sound confusion. There's a lot of words that sound like each other. And if you're not constantly reviewing the old ones, even if you know them like that, if I don't constantly review them, I notice that I am confusing the newer stuff with the older stuff that I haven't reviewed in a while. I think if I review it more frequently, this is a theory, and the theory goes that if I review it hold on, let me put that schedule back. I don't even know why I still have the schedule, since the box is going to be dismantled on camera today. Whoa! If I don't, the theory is that if I review more regularly, especially if I incorporate writing into it, then I will confuse things less when they come up. Also, I make those confusion cards where I put two words that look similar next to each other, and I make myself stare at them and look at the differences between the two. Without reviewing level 7 and level 6 and the higher levels basically more often, I lose the opportunity to figure out what needs to be on the confusion cards with the new words and the old words together. So I lose the opportunity to make those cards, and instead I make it messes up my reading in the practice. I'd much rather it hit me during a vocabulary flashcard session than during a reading session. For the reading session, I really, really want to move on to meaning, not just reading the words. And by getting caught up on the look of the words, it's bringing me back to the first 7 chapters of HSK3, which is just reading, not reading comprehension. And I really want to move on to comprehension. It's time. My test, it's now the beginning of September. My test is in December. And I feel comfortable enough with the reading, which is such a cool thing, that I want to move on to understanding what the hell I'm reading. Call me picky. All right, so that's pretty awesome. And that's only happened in a few weeks, which is pretty cool. And I can imagine some of the horror happening right now. Well, maybe I should actually. Does anyone want my actual box? Now, it's like $1 at a local dollar store, and for me to ship it from China to somewhere else. If you're in China or in Shanghai, I'd be more than happy to pass this on to you. But do know that's got tons of dust, and I'm not going to clean it. Anyway, point being, I had a conversation on the Changing Scripts podcast the other day. Hi, Vaughn! And Vaughn, also known as Von Zeno, in some of the comments that he leaves, it's very thoughtful, interesting comments, was talking about watching me go through my Leitner box progression. And I didn't have the heart to tell him at the time that I had already ordered the thing that's going to replace the Leitner box, the actual physical Leitner box. So I'm still using the flashcards. Sorry, Vaughn. I didn't have the heart to tell you that. And also, I wasn't sure if it was going to look like what I thought it was, and if I was going to go through with it, and all that kind of good stuff, because I ordered it, I think, a day before the conversation. But it's here. It arrived yesterday, and I just hung it up on our TV because we don't actually use our TV to watch TV. We're those people. We watch things on our phones and computers. Yeah, so flashcards are going to continue, definitely. I think this will make the flashcards quicker, better, faster. I think that is an ad for a comic, isn't it? Or a Marvel show or something. Anyway, point being, let me show you what's going to happen. I'll show you there's still some fine points I need to figure out because level 1 is still in this pouch, and that might stay true. I don't know. Right now I'm really trying to push through a lot of vocabulary. I've got 1, 2, 3 different packs of, let's see, there's 99, there's 18 in this one, and I have 3 of those. And I'm really trying to stay ahead of the vocabulary in the chapters. For example, all of chapter 9 after today's session is finally in level 1, and I'm going to review them every day. And chapter 10 is in the waiting for when those go up to level 2. And I just started, actually that's a lie, I'm starting chapter 8 today on Tuesday, which is thoroughly embarrassing, right after I make this video. I should have started on Sunday, but one of my 2 of my my virtual expat podcast came out this week, and there was a lot more manipulation with the format than I had anticipated, and so it slightly disrupted my learning. But that's okay because I have built-in days to shift stuff over to. So whoops, I didn't do any studying for I think a day and a half, and I'm going to get back on track today. So it all works. Anyway, okay, so level 1 will probably stay in here for now just because I've got like the flashcards waiting to be, the flashcards I review every day, and level 1's still going to stay every day. I've got the flashcards that are ready to go into the pack when they're needed, and I've got flashcard making materials in here. So level 1's probably still going to stay here. But level 2, I actually want to graduate level 2 to more often. So here's what I bought. I'm going to turn the camera around here. Follow me over. Let's see, I hope this works. So I bought this Monday through Sunday, or Sunday through Saturday thing. And I can even keep a schedule in if I need to, but I think I'll just put like blank flashcards in there. And these pockets are big. Look at that. That's awesome. So I think I can keep this for a few levels of HSK. I don't know when I'm going to take cards out of the system. I'm not sure that I will, actually, to be honest with you. Even when it gets really intense, I might get a few of these puppies instead of taking cards out. I really am the type of person that needs a lot of review, and I think that's the biggest lesson in all of this. The Leitner boxes worked really well on getting things into my head so that I can read them in the textbook, but if I don't review it, it falls out. It seriously falls out. Okay, so what I think I'm going to do, because right now in the current Leitner box here, I've got levels 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So if I put, let's think through this, right? So if I put Sunday as level 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I still got an extra pocket. So I could do Monday through Saturday, I suppose. And then I could put some materials in here. I have lots of Post-its and stuff too. So the question is, do I want to review stuff once a week? For levels 5, 6, and 7, I think that's really good, because that's something I haven't been doing, and I think that'll really help me combine the new stuff with the old stuff, make the new confusion cards that need to happen, which will be more flashcard making, and that takes time, but I think that will help with not getting confused while I'm reading, which is the goal of the flashcards. So I probably have too many pockets. That's okay. I've got enough flashcard making supplies that this could work okay. So the biggest question is, how often? Am I really doing most of them only once a week? And honestly, level 1 and level 2 I want to do daily. But even if I do level 3, okay, let's look at the old Leitner. How often was level 3 done? So if we just go for the first 7 days, level 3 was done twice. The next 7 days, level 3 was done twice again. So it looks like level 3 was done twice. I know the time, space, repetition thing was scientifically done and it worked for a lot of folks, and it's worked really well up to this point for me too. And I'm not going to throw this out yet. I'm just going to put it aside while I test out the new system and see if this works any better. So I think the safe way to do it for a while is to keep levels 1 and 2 daily, and then have the other ones on their day of the week. Yeah, and I still need to switch over a lot of the cards from the bigger ugly cards to the smaller cards, because there was a flashcard fiasco a few months ago, and a lot of them are still, here, let me show you, it's really awful. Now that I've gotten used to the smaller new cards, I really, really, really hate the bigger cards. So the bigger cards are like this, and the smaller cards are like this. So there's a substantial difference when I'm flipping through them, which you don't think about until, oh, I better put this in the right one. Where the hell did I get that? Oh, I hope that was in level 3. Anyway, you don't think about these things until you're actually just sitting somewhere like on a bus or in a cafe or even at home, and I take them out and start going through them. It really makes a difference that they're different sizes. So this will give me the opportunity every week to copy some of them over and get them all on the same size eventually. Which will happen because I think I bought like 10 different packs of the new stuff. So that should cover this and probably a lot of HSK4. Oh, I still need to finish the second half of HSK3, but I'm thinking forward. I know I said HSK4, I'll talk about that later. What else? Now, the other big question is, do they move up levels? How am I going to do that? I imagine they would move up levels, wouldn't they? I think that's an organic progression. Yeah, so I don't see a problem. Now, do I want to turn one of these into writing day versus one of these into opinion day? No, I don't. I really don't think that's necessary. So I think they should go up levels. Once they get to level 7, do I just keep reviewing them, or do I shove them down on the lower levels to help with the stress of the newer ones that I won't know as much? I don't know. I think I might actually put the stuff in level 7 in different pockets so that I have some stuff that I know really well within there. So the days of the week don't directly correspond to the levels, the 7 levels. They won't necessarily be an indication of the ones that are the easiest for me, but they'll have a sense of that left in them. Again, I'm just kind of making this up as I go. I really thought it's been gnawing at me for a while now that I keep confusing really, really simple ones that I feel like I knew really well a month or 2 ago with the new ones that are coming in that look similar. And again, there's so many like this in Chinese, and I think partially because the script is so different, I think for some people, including myself, it's really easy to just go with the one you know that looks like it instead of the one that has an extra stroke. So yeah, so I think the Leitner box might have a ceiling as far as how far it can help you with Mandarin Chinese. Now, having said that, it can take you far. I used it for the first 2.5 levels of the language, at least if you're looking at just from an HSK perspective. And I could have used it when I was studying radicals. That's a whole other section, like a pre-level sort of thing. And I probably could have used it for pronunciation purposes for the pinyin before that. So there's potentially 2 pre-levels, and then there's HSK1 and HSK2, and like I said, I'm up to chapter 8, and I'm just dismantling it today. So I think you can get a lot out of the Leitner box, and maybe for you it works to keep using the time-space repetition schedule that the Leitner box has. For me, I'm going to venture out and review more often. I think that's going to help me out with the confusion and with retaining the stuff that I don't see a lot. Because each chapter of the HSK, which is where my reading content is right now, they do have kind of a theme, and there's words that do get repeated. 我,是, ni, 现在, and just zai in general is in every other word. 再见, 谢谢. Like, these things end up being in almost every sentence, or at least in every conversation. But there are a lot of simple words that end up just in some chapters. Like the weather chapter now, I think it was about a chapter or two ago, I really struggled because they taught all 4 seasons at once and they all end with the same characters, so it's all messed up in my head. I have to do a serious confusion card for that soon. But those, I'm probably not going to talk about seasons for a while, but I want to keep that fresh. Once I learn it and get it above level 2, I want to keep it there. And I think this is the way that will help me. Is that true for everybody when they're using the Leitner box with Mandarin Chinese? Oh, hell no! There's nothing that's true for everybody. But I would definitely suggest doing this if you are someone who is very tactile, if you're someone that likes writing the language. I definitely recommend doing this. It's a really good gateway into the strokes and just the general awesomeness of the look and feel, the feel of Hanzi characters, the feel of Hanzi. I don't know how to say that in Chinese yet. Feel. Do I know feel? No, I know think, and for some bizarre reason, I think I have 4 words for worried in my vocabulary thanks to HSK. Yeah, Hanban. Excuse me, I need to talk to the guys that make the HSK. Hanban, why are there so many friggin' words for worried in HSK? Should I be worried about this? Okay, I'm sending that off into the ether. Anyway, seriously, it's really bizarre. I can't think of all of them right now, but I think Zhou, it's one of them, and there's one really new one that I just introduced to the deck yesterday. But seriously, I think there's 4. I really do. Cumulative from HSK1 to HSK3, Chapter 7. But that's a lot, especially considering I don't think I know listen, as far as senses go, I know the word for listen is ting. My tones are off, I know. To say, that's not really a sense though. To see, that's one of the jians, isn't it? Oh, that's one that I was confusing for a while. Ooh, see, when I try to use it in the real world, it's not so good yet. I'm much better at it being a passive learner right now. But see, taste I don't have, but I do. I think the word for eat might be used for taste words, because I think like ch is eat and how ch is tasty, right? Like if you're in a restaurant, you would say how ch, like it tastes good. So maybe that bleeds over into taste. I don't know smell, which is really funny considering how sensory life is in Shanghai and in other places in China. If you're just talking about the food or the general moistness or heat, and it's a very, very humid, vibrant sensory place. So I think it's funny that there's no word for smell yet to come up. And I don't know feel. I do know think. Shang, I think, is one of the thinks, and I think there's a few more. And I don't mind learning words for think. Or is that to hope? Might be both. See, clearly I need to kill the Leitner box and review more often. So, here we go. The Leitner box is now no more.